How's it going? I'm making a quick video and don't mind my appearance. I just got out of the sauna. I'm just biding a little time as I wait to meet up with my friend for lunch. So I wanted to come on here because while I was meditating in the sauna, I was inspired to talk about choices. You know, when I was in grad school, and this is what I'm going back to with regards to choices. In grad school, one of the therapies that I learned and built on later that really resonated with me was solution-focused therapy, because it's a short-term methodology. And sorry, people walking by. And it's about moving forward, not really diving so much into the past. Now, I also understand that everybody's going to meet themselves where they're at. And oftentimes when we have a lot of unresolved trauma, we have to dig into it a little bit to understand ourselves better. And that's just part of the healing process. However, when we are trying to move forward in life or work towards goals and we keep feeling like we keep banging up or walking into a brick wall, right? We feel like there's blockages, we feel resistance, and oftentimes we can't really put our finger on it because typically that resistance is the belief systems in our unconscious mind that we developed around traumatic events or around just growing up and the limitations that we may feel we have based on experiences, whether ours or others. Okay. So it seems like there's this invisible brick wall that keeps us from whatever our goal is, whether that's financial success, whether that's relational success, whatever you deem that to be, because the word success means something different to most people, quite truthfully. Some people may consider success to be affluence and financial abundance. Other people may consider success to be happy relationships. You know, I mean, there's just so many different ways to view what success is to you. Can also differ depending on what you're talking about. I mean, success in a marriage may be different than success in business, right? As far as your belief systems go and what that means for you. In any case, a lot of times in life, when we're healing, we feel these blockages. And it's easy if we are in a victim mentality to assume that it's other people putting them on us, right? That it's coming externally from us and that we have nothing to do with it. And we may not consciously, okay? But subconsciously, often we are our own greatest enemy in that sense. And I'm not saying that so that you don't have trust in yourself or things like that. But it's really to encourage yourself to get to know yourself better. What are the patterns you recognize in your life? What are the things that come up for you? And what are the behaviors or the thinking and the belief systems that you engage in or with around those things? Pay attention to yourself more so than everyone around you. That's the key. But in any case, with regards to choices, I know myself, I've been working through some blockages with certain things. And I've been doing a lot of self-healing with regards to unconscious beliefs, trauma, you name it. We're all being human out here, right? So in any case, I was talking with someone the other day, yesterday actually, and it was really kind of cool. They brought to my attention a new way of really kind of looking at it. And I mentioned that brought me back to solution-focused therapy, because with solution-focused therapy, it's what is your goal and how do we move towards it, okay? And we can pull out any obstacles as we move forward, but ultimately it's making the choice to move forward, right? If your goal is to be a marathon runner, and it's healthy for you to do so because everyone's limitations are different, then instead of looking at all of the things that are keeping you from doing that, it's making the choice to just wake up and start acting like you're a marathon runner. Now, that doesn't mean try to run 20 miles. No, but it does mean showing up in the energy that helps you identify with that goal. So maybe I start walking, but I make myself get up and I make myself get out there and start walking every day and building from there. Eventually, maybe I'm running 1 mile, walking a second mile. This is how I did it when I was going into the Air Force. I wasn't fat by any means, but I was not in shape when I had no cardio when I was going into the Air Force when I was 23. So I had to start walking around the track, and then I had to build up from there and then make myself take it to the next level and start running when I was ready. That's the thing. Pay attention to your body and what it's telling you. Okay? Resistance to some degree is okay. Just don't harm yourself. Right? Because it doesn't have to be hard. And that was one of the things that we were dealing with, because I found in my life most accomplishments were hard. Long-term goals, taxing. Usually I had to push through a lot of things and make it happen. It was hard. So I developed this belief system that achieving my goals had to be hard. And then we were talking and I was like, it just doesn't resonate, right? And it was really talking about making the choice to allow, to not feed a belief system, but to make a different choice to show up in a different energy. What energy do you want to sit in your life? And then make the choice to show up there. That's how we manifest. That's how we create and move forward. Okay? Imagine that, this is one of the tricks with solution-focused therapy, is imagine that you have a magic wand and that you wave it and that all of the problems that you perceive yourself to have or that you have or whatever are gone. And you're sitting free. What do you do then? So it's really about, I guess there's a little sense of imagery there, of imagination, but it helps to kind of free up the debris. It helps with the moving forward. So ultimately, it's the choices we make in the moments in our life that make all the difference, which is why it's so important to be present with yourself in life at any given time. Because how do we know what choices could potentially serve us or set us up for success if we're not in the moment and paying attention to our body and what's happening within us as well as what's happening around us? Choices are really important. They're small, but they define progress. And the choices we make today set us up for the choices we get to make tomorrow. All right. I hope that's helpful. Have a good one. Talk soon.